Chelsea, I heard from the rest of the family that you got married. I knew you had someone you'd been dating for a while now, but if you plan to get married, you have to tell me. It's amazing to hear that the family is growing larger. Also, there are a lot of things that need to get prepared now. We need to start thinking about the wedding and what kind of decorations you'll want there. I won't try to get in your way when planning it all out, but I'd still like to be around to help you a little. Huh? But I did tell you about getting married. Maybe this is because you always forget about me that you never remembered? Even if I happen to be forgetful at times, I never forget about my own daughter getting married. Anyway, if you're going to have a wedding, can you please tell me the date you'd like to have it on? I want to meet his parents, and I want to be around to help with the wedding. Actually, I haven't even met him yet, so it'd be nice if you could set up a day for the three of us to go out and chat. Don't tell me you plan to be around me for this, right? Huh? You already know that I'll be there. No parent would ever want to stay away from their kid while they're having a wedding. Why would you say something like that? Listen to yourself. Huh? Wait a second, Chelsea. Is there something going on between us that I should be worried about? I know I can be a bit too much for you at times, but we haven't talked that much recently, so there shouldn't be anything about me that's upsetting you. Chelsea, can you please reply to me? Chelsea? Chelsea, I'm asking you to please respond to me. This is all really important for us, right? I only just learned that you have a man now, and I'd like a bit more information on what'll happen from here. Shut up already! You're always being so rude to me. I stopped talking because you crossed the line with me again, and I don't have any more patience for you. I'd like it if you just read the atmosphere already. Uh-huh. For the time being, I think the day of the wedding is bound to change. So when we have a certain date, I'll let you know. Well, I guess that's okay, but... and as far as you meeting with the parents before the wedding, they don't seem to want to. So you will not be meeting his parents and family before the wedding. They already told me things are tough as it is with their lives, and that they'll see you someday. You're telling me that they don't want to meet with me before the wedding? But that's like one of the most important things that needs to happen before your big day. Don't you want to know how I'll get along with them? That's all right. My husband is a pretty busy man after all. There's no time to waste watching you make a fool out of me in front of them. Make a fool out of you? Wait. He's so busy that he can't even let me come and meet him or his family? What kind of man is he? I want to at least know who he is, Chelsea. He's going to be family in the end, so I want to know about him so things don't stay distant. You really want to know about him, huh? He's the son of a very powerful family that has a very famous company. He's one of the elite. He's got a lot of money, so does everyone else. They all live in a huge mansion deep in the woods, and the only way you can actually go into their estate is if you know them personally. Well, that's great to hear. He's one in a million then. I'm so proud that you finally found someone and he ended up being that outstanding. That's exactly right. And I'll become part of a family of very distinguished people. I'll be in a world far different than the one my moneyless mom lives in. So don't be trying to contact me too much, okay? Huh? You have heard of the company Marina Group, right, Mom? Well, my husband is going to be the CEO of that company. Dad is the CEO there now, but one day when he steps down, he'll give the position to his son, and then I'll be right next to him. So there's no way I want him knowing about my janitor mom whatsoever. Marina Group is the company that specializes in all sorts of businesses, right? Things like technology and medicine? I see. A son of the Marina Group. But if he happens to be affiliated closely with the Marina Group, then he should be just fine meeting someone like me. I already know plenty of people there now, so we could get along really well. And at this point, he's already been married, so he shouldn't mind seeing his mother-in-law. Ask him if he can make a little time to come out and see me. Huh? Why would you know about anything to do with him when you're a simple janitor? Well, the reason for that is that I'm a janitor working for the Marina Group within their main headquarters. Huh? They have a lot of guests that come to the building, and so they've made sure to keep a large group of us there to keep the place very clean. I may be based at the headquarters, but every so often I'll also be asked to go to some of the other regional offices. And since I have been cleaning the meeting rooms a lot of the time, I meet all sorts of execs from all over the world that come to do business. Stop bullcrapping me. Huh? What are you talking about? I never heard a thing about you working there. Hurry up and quit that job now, you old hag. Unless you're lying to me, of course. Wait, Chelsea? What the hell has gotten into you? Just quit that dang job. He'll learn that you're a janitor if you continue to work there. That would be too embarrassing for me to even keep on living. So just tell them that you're leaving and find a new job. Maybe one that's a little bit less dirty and smelly. I've been in the company for a while now, so leaving like this would be too much of a problem for them. I don't want to do that, especially after all this company has given to you and me. I don't care. I just want you to quit. That job has given nothing to you, and it most certainly has not given anything beside a bad image to me. Now quit! If you don't, I'll cut ties with you forever, and you'll never get to see how your daughter turns out. Calm down, Chelsea. I assure you that if you just listen to me and let me talk to your man and his family, everything will be just fine. Chelsea? Mom, we've chosen a day for the wedding. I'll tell you the date in a little bit, but first, can you hand me my money for the wedding? So you've decided on a date, huh? But I feel as though I should be giving you something more meaningful than just money, don't you think? My friends said they'd be giving me presents, so it's fine. I just want you to bring me my money. And if not, I'll ask it for the moment you come to my wedding. All right, then. And one other thing. When are you going to quit your job for me? If your daughter is about to have a wedding with an elite man, then it's only right that you, as my mom, quit that dirty job. I can't believe you right now. If you quit that job, I promise to give you a little money once we're married, and you can live off of that until you find a better job. But I have a life of my own to live, and this job is how I keep my life going. I plan to at least ask my boss if it would be okay for me to work in another office for the time being instead of the headquarters. That way your husband will never even know I work in the company and you won't have to be worried. Huh? You are useless! Chelsea. And you've been that way forever. Ever since Dad died and you said you had to work for the two of us, you left me at home all by myself. Even though you also said you had to be there to be the one to raise me, you never were around to. I don't get it, Mom. How can you be so frickin' useless? That's not true. I was there with you all the time to make sure that you grew up into a happy and loved woman. I just needed to work a lot so that we had money. So that you had money for when I sent you off to university. Shut up! Don't try and fool me. You always came to my graduations or ceremonies in your dirty clothing, and it was a disgrace to our family. And since I plan to cut ties with you after the wedding, I thought the last thing you could attempt to do for me is hand me my money. But you're still trying to ruin things for me by working that job, and it's enough. Don't say something so heartless as cutting ties with me, Chelsea. I'm sure there are times I left you feeling lonely, and you remember those moments very well. But I wanted to make sure you were still loved and raised well, and that's why I worked so hard for you. I love you, Chelsea. Why have you showed up to my wedding without telling me? Don't mess around anymore. Do you really want to make me feel embarrassed today? You are absolutely useless, Mom. I told you to read the dang atmosphere, Mom. Chelsea, why? Why have you been doing this to me? Huh? Doing what to you? Don't play stupid with me. I was thinking as a way of showing my love and support for you, I'd come and see the family and the man that you'd be marrying into. And the moment I came into that room, you punched me in the face. Then you called me a thief of your wedding. You hit me in the face with something in that room. And then to finish me off, you called one of the security guards in to carry me out of the wedding. You're making things seem like they happened worse than they really did. Are you sure you're not just imagining things now? If you think things like that are bad for you, then maybe you should go see a doctor for yourself. If that was all an illusion, then it was all very real. But I know right now that my face is covered in cuts and bruises and is swelling really badly. So I'm going to have to go to the hospital and have it all cared for. Well, if you're going, then I don't need to worry about you. Ask them to take a look at your head and make sure there's even a brain in there. The tests have finally all been done on me, and now I'm waiting on the results. They at least told me that nothing serious is broken. But because my skin is really torn up, they asked that I take things easy for a little while. I see. You see? Chelsea, this was all your fault in the first place.
Oh, shut the hell up! It's not like it really even matters at this point. I just wish you would have broken something in your head and then you could have stayed in the hospital forever.
Chelsea, why did you choose to punch me? I even made sure that to not cause you any embarrassment, I wore a really done-up dress. And I didn't even mean to go up to his parents yet to introduce myself. So why are you treating me so poorly? If I caused you that much pain in the past, I will forgive you, but you have to explain to me why you did this.
Well, look, I already told you why, right? My husband is the son of a very famous family and a large company. He himself has a wonderful future ahead of him, and his family is all full of elite people. They're already all aware that I'm just some plain girl that graduated from a mid-level university, but if they learn that my mom is some dirty janitor, that would be the end of this marriage.
The end of your marriage? I don't think they would do that to you, though.
Well, the elite don't want to be anywhere near the poor, Mom. And I had finally found my way out of being poor and dirty, so don't you dare get in my way now!
So that's the reason you've chosen to hate me. And yet you don't even understand what I do for a living.
Come on! All you are is a stupid janitor, right? In other words, you literally smell of garbage. Do you really think that there are any people that want you in their family? And so, I'm going to tell his family that both my parents are dead and have been for a long time.
Huh?
It's much better to just tell him that you're dead instead of saying something like you're a janitor or something. And yet, you decided to come here without telling me. Did you really think I was going to invite a janitor to my wedding? So, for coming uninvited, it was only right of me to hit you in the face.
All you are to me now is a complete stranger, then.
Huh? Oh, well that helps out a lot then.
You're right. I'll no longer be around you anymore, and you'll never have to think of me as your mom again.
I never thought of you as my mom, though. Having to call you Mom all this time was the biggest pain in the butt ever. But now I'll finally never have to worry about that pain again.
Marissa, do you have time at this moment to talk? This is Marina Group's Richard.
Oh, Mr. Richard, thank you so much. I had just finished asking if it would be okay for me to contact you today. But there's a problem, right?
When I heard that there was something private the two of us needed to talk about, I knew what was coming. I'm so sorry for what has happened.
Oh, I don't mind at the moment. I'm assuming that with the privacy that this conversation has, you may have some questions about the whole matter?
Well, yes. To start, I would like to tell you that was my son's wedding yesterday.
I had assumed that was so. Congratulations.
Thank you, but I was made aware that in one of the tables showing family members, your photo was there, which is odd considering that the bride stated that both her parents were dead during her speech. I didn't want to think that this could be true, but are you Kelsey's mother?
Yes, that's right. And my daughter told me that she didn't want a janitor mother at her wedding. I didn't even go into the main hall where the actual wedding would be held, yet she punched me in the face anyway.
She punched you?
Yes, and thankfully, due to me having to clean around your office, you were able to see the condition my face is in.
She hit you that badly, though? If it really is bothering you to be at work with those injuries, you are more than welcome to take some time off.
Thank you for being so considerate. But I have some things that are going on that are making it hard for me to take any time off. And taking time off may cause some trouble for you, Mr. Richard. But be aware that I'm going to sue Chelsea.
What? Wait. Are you being serious? She's your daughter though, right?
And that's the reason why I have to sue her. Now that she has her wonderful husband to look after her, she's forgotten about everything I sacrificed to raise her when she was younger. But in my eyes, I've always been so proud that she was able to find herself a man.
Everyone knows that you've taken such good care of Kelsey. Even when you were so busy with supporting her through your work, you were able to get to her school events.
And that was because I had people here to help make that happen. But perhaps that didn't make me a good enough mother for her. Chelsea used to be such a kind little girl to me. There were times she'd even hand-bake me cakes for my birthday to celebrate. Yet, now she's at the point where she thinks it's okay to punch her own mother. I must have messed up somewhere along the way that turned her into this monster.
And as for myself, seeing that she had become such a good wife for my son, I can't believe she would do such a thing. When I had first met her after she started dating my son, she always told me that she wanted to be my daughter, and that's what made me fall for her.
Chelsea, she's really changed now, though. And because of what's happened to her, I cannot let her get away with it. It's because she used to be my sweet little girl, that seeing her now as someone who's okay with violence has made me so upset. I cannot let her get away with that, Mr. Richard.
Marissa.
And on top of that, she now wishes for me to just disappear from her life. And so if she wants to think of me as nothing but a complete stranger, I'll do the same and forget that she was ever my daughter. I never wanted to have to think of her as someone beside my own blood, but because she's gone so far to show that she doesn't want me around anymore, I'll do as she wishes. Now Chelsea is nothing more than a complete stranger to me. Perhaps I should say she turned out just like me. After all, I was an awful mother to her.
I don't believe that you were. You gave your all to be the mother that she not only wanted, but needed, and that took a lot of sacrifice out of you. And so in this instant, what she had done to you was not something that can be forgiven. For the time being, I want you to rest and let your wounds heal. And so that you can have time off of work, I'll have someone in to cover for you, okay?
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Richard.
Just call me Richard, Marissa.
Thank you, Richard.
Hey, you hag! What the hell is this? What does it mean I'm being sued? It says there was a victim's report sent in by you?
Well, what you're looking at is just that.
Don't mess with me, you! Just because you're upset with me doesn't mean you can try and fight me now.
Well, I'd like to know who this is. I don't happen to be friends with anyone who's willing to call me a hag like you have, so who are you?
Huh? What's with that? You're being too distant.
You and I are complete strangers, so I don't happen to know much about you. Hence, me acting distant. And within that victim's report that you have with you, there's a breakdown off all the healthcare that I needed to receive for my injuries. And because there were cameras all over the reception hall for your wedding, I have plenty of evidence.
Having to listen to a janitor tell me they're the victim of anything is gross. Hurry up and get rid of this crap.
I will not be doing that.
Well, if you like, I can pay you out of court. Unlike you, you useless hag, I happen to be quite the generous person. I have lots in savings, and so I don't mind handing you a little money to shut you up. So, tell me what you like.
You must have a lot of money then.
I'm a celebrity now, so my money is endless. And unlike me, your life cleaning up garbage must be painful every single day. You have no money to play with like me.
But unfortunately, I believe that your money isn't going to last much longer.
You are such a sore loser, and it's making me sad. Have you not realized what's happened to you yet? You witch! You started telling my husband all sorts of weird crap now. You're a freak. I'm going to sue you now.
If you want to try suing me, go right ahead. I just happened to tell your husband the whole truth surrounding us. I let him know that his wife is totally fine with punching her own family.
And that's what makes you a freak. You're trying to ruin my image. I am not some kind of monster that just likes to punch whoever I see.
But you punched me without any restraint, right?
And that's because you messed up by coming to my wedding without even being invited. You're a low-life janitor, and you came to that wedding to try and take the spotlight away from me, right? And so me punching you was to protect myself. I never just go around punching my family or anyone else.
But it turns out that your husband trusts me over you.
Huh?
Your husband really is a kind man, isn't he? When he heard that I was his mother-in-law, he was so happy and spoke to me like he was family. He even called me Mom, and that just warmed my heart. And when I saw his smile, I just didn't know how I could have ended up with such a caring son-in-law. Well, you and I are just strangers now, so he's not your son-in-law. That's right. But in only a little longer, you and him will also be nothing but strangers.
What are you talking about? That man loves the hell out of me. There's no way we'll ever get divorced from each other.
That's what you'd like to think, right? But when he sees the evidence of you punching me, like those recorded videos, and when he sees how you've always texted me, he might just lose all his love for you.
You're going to show him? Our conversations are supposed to be between you and I.
Oh, I've already told him, Chelsea. And all of this is evidence to you assaulting me. And just as I've told your husband, I've told the police about everything, and soon you'll be taken into their custody. I told him that he's totally fine to continue the process of divorcing you while all that happens. Your husband may be the kind of man to be generous and loving to everyone, but he can only spread that love so far when there's someone who has turned themselves into a monster. He doesn't even care that I'm a janitor. He's worried about the fact that he's married to a woman that chooses violence over anything else.
In this day and age, evidence can be faked. And you know that when choosing to trust his wife over some random old lady, he'd choose to trust me. And now I'm going to go around telling everyone that a crazy old hag has been making things up about me and that it's ruining my reputation.
And that will only work if people choose to believe you.
This is all your fault. It's your fault that he wants to divorce me now. You're a frickin' plague.
I can see that you're in a lot of trouble now, but what happened to the confidence you had before?
Shut the hell up, you hag. It's because of all the needless crap you brought up that my husband went and started looking deeper into me.
Right. He was able to see that in college you and other men would always get into problematic relationships with each other, huh? I heard all about it from your husband. He said that you always chose to be violent with other people back then. Which is crazy because I never even knew that you'd been beating up people back then when you were away at college.
But in those instances, I would give them some hush money and things would end there. So don't use all of that to ruin my image now.
The fact that I never once noticed that you've been causing all that trouble then really goes to show how bad of a mother I was. But now knowing that he's willing to divorce you over all of that, I'm happy.
Shut the actual frick up, you whore. You tried to take away my happiness. You're the worst of the worst. Are you not saddened by all the pain you've caused your daughter?
Of course, I had always wanted my daughter to be happy, but I never had a daughter that wanted her mother to be happy. And don't worry, because I'm not your mom anymore, just like you've been asking.
Dad, help me please. My mom has a grudge against me now and is making up lies. Can you please tell your son to not divorce me at least? You told me ever since I became your daughter you've been so happy, right?
I'm sorry, Kelsey, but I already know everything.
And everything that you know is that woman's delusion.
Her delusion? But I had seen the face of your mother after you had punched her in the eye. Do you really think that I could see that as a lie for the type of person that you really are?
Huh? Why did you see my mom when she's only a janitor?
Of course, it's surprising to think that a CEO would be aware of all his janitors like I am. But Kelsey, your mom and I, her and I go way back, Kelsey.
Her and you?
Yes, your deceased father was my close friend, and I think I remember once seeing you at the funeral for him, although you were a lot younger then, and you were crying the whole time, so I never really had a chance to confirm who you were.
I remember the funeral. And I remember a man standing right in front of his grave after he was buried that cried and cried all day. Was that person you?
He was me, and that's why your mother and I have been close ever since. But she never once thought of getting married again, instead sacrificing everything of hers to make sure that she could raise you right. And since I was so close to her husband, I made it my goal to support her as she raised you, even to the length of giving her the job that she has now. And that job is the one that you keep on making fun of her for.
But isn't being a janitor one of the dirtiest and lowest jobs out there? I bet the only reason you gave her that job is because she was too stupid to do anything else, right?
Do not make such claims about your mother or I. And although you can't seem to understand it, I can see that your mother is one of the most important people around.
Huh? There's just no way.
Are you sure? If you'd like to come and give being a janitor a try for this company, we'll see how hard she works to keep everything going smoothly here. She's amazing with all of her cleaning techniques. And at the moment, because of those reasons, she's the manager of the Marina Group's janitors.
Huh? That woman is the manager?
Yeah. She's always been making sure that my headquarters is looking perfect. And so now I have her managing all the other janitors and making sure any new hires are trained properly. She's even willing to do tasks outside of her job requirements, and everyone here respects her for that. Not only as her CEO, but as the man who's known her for so long, I think that she is one of the most amazing women to have ever entered my company.
That can't be.
You made it clear that you hated her for her career, and that you never wanted her to be your mom because you couldn't see all the work that she put in for you. In other words, you've been making fun of and hurting the woman that I promised your dad I'd keep safe and support. I cannot let my son stay married to anyone like you, and so this is the end for you.
You're wrong. I never knew that my mom was doing that amazing at her job.
Even after all you've done to us, you still want to try and make excuses? I don't want you anywhere near my son or your mother. If you do ever come near them, I'll have the police called and you taken to jail.
Wait, Dad, please listen to what I have to say about this. Mom, help me! Right now, I'm in court for the divorce, and it looks like all those other men from the past want to sue me now. And because of the victims report you handed in, my life is going to be pretty much over.
And that's what you had been wishing for. I never planned on taking that report down. And now I'm going to make sure that you pay me a settlement as well as pay for all my medical bills, so prepare yourself.
But I don't have that kind of money on me. Please forgive me for whatever I did.
I will not. I have a responsibility to make sure that the daughter I raised is properly punished for the way she's acted. And now that you've gone and told me I'm not your mother anymore, I will not go easy on you. Now I want no more messages coming from you anymore. You are just a stranger now, so acting this way is extremely rude to me.
Wait! Hey, please come help me. I'll do anything for you. Somebody come and save me.
After that, Chelsea was told that she would have to pay a settlement to quite a few people, but on top of that, she would also have to be on parole for a year. She was not happy about hearing that from the judge and tried really hard to run from them, but she soon realized that the police were all around her. That didn't stop her though, and in an attempt to get around them, she punched one of the police in the face, only to be tackled by 3 more and dragged out of the courtroom. For 6 months after that, she had to serve time for assaulting an officer, but was released early and placed on 2 years of parole. However, getting out of jail was not easy on her, and she still has to pay off all the settlements, which she chose to borrow a lot of money in order to do so. But even without the stress of the settlements themselves looming over her, she now needed to pay off the money that she borrowed. So now she's working day and night at a couple of different places, trying her best to make all she can. But because of the way she treats everyone and acts within the building she's been working in, she's been demoted to being the janitor in all of them. She has now learned that there's no good side or bad side to being a janitor, and that it's all up to the person in said position to make a good or bad name for themselves. I know that she has to work long days making whatever money she can, but I hope, as my last wish for her as her mother, that she will one day find a way out of having to work so much and can go back to a normal life where she has time to breathe. As for myself, I can see that even with all I gave trying to raise her right, she still turned out far worse than I could have ever imagined. But as a lot of my friends around me have said, I cannot blame myself for raising someone that was never willing to respect me in the first place.
Hey, Dee! What's with your face? You know that the reason no one likes talking to you is because you look like you're ready to bite someone's head off, right? You seriously need to fix that. It's a huge problem for me.
Hello, Rachel. Are you sure that you were trying to send those texts to someone else, perhaps? Because I really have no idea what good reason there could be to be saying those kinds of things to your own mother-in-law.
You really think that I would make a mistake like that? Of course those texts were meant for you. I literally included your name in them. But I really wasn't trying to be mean or anything, so I really hope you're not too upset. I just wanted to let you know that this was a thing your face did all the time. I figured that because you never tried to fix it that you didn't know.
I see. Well, if I'm going to be honest to you, I thought it was pretty rude. And I can't think of a single thing that I've done to you to merit being treated this way. I know that I'm not your real mother, but I really was hoping that after knowing you for so long that we might be able to get along better.
You wish? I don't see how you and I could ever get along in a million years. It'd be impossible.
Oh, well, I am sorry that you feel that way. But can I please at least know why it is that you do?
Your face just screams overbearing mother-in-law. And if there's something I know about people, it's that you can tell the kind of person they are just from looking at them.
Okay, Rachel. This is just getting to be a bit ridiculous now, don't you think? I really think that you are taking this rudeness just a bit too far. I'm going to ask you politely to think more carefully about the words that you want to use when talking to me.
Oh, trust me. I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm choosing all of my words very, very carefully. I think that you're just getting upset because everything that I'm saying is true, isn't it?
I really just do not understand what has gotten into you right now. Did I do something to upset you? Why are you finding it necessary to talk to me this way?
Oh, you didn't do anything to me at all, actually. I do appreciate you asking, though.
Well, then tell me why. Why are you always treating me this way? I am your husband's mother, and I think you should be treating me with more respect. If not that, then at least I shouldn't be getting bullied by you either.
Who do you think you are to demand respect for me when we're not even related? You think you're entitled to that just because you birthed my husband? From now on, I want you to stay away from my husband and I. Do you understand? Just being around you is enough to stress me out. And stress leads to getting sick and getting wrinkles. At this rate, I'll end up looking just like you.
You are still completely avoiding the question, Rachel. If I really haven't done anything to you at all, then I don't think that I deserve this kind of language being used with me. Can't we just try and act more like a family? I've done nothing but try to be kind to you. Just who do you think you are to tell me that I have to keep away from my son, Gabe? I don't think you'd want me to keep my distance from him at all.
You are seriously so annoying. Do you know that?
Are you kidding me right now? You're acting like a child, Rachel.
There you go again, calling me names and stressing me out. You see? I was right. You are just a mean mother-in-law. Well, I don't have to put up with this any longer. I am not going to sit here and let myself be bullied by a mean old woman like you. I don't even want to see you at Gabe and I's wedding. Do you understand?
Rachel, please. You don't really mean that. Why can't we just have a calm conversation about this? Gabe, I'm not sure what's going on, but I think that Rachel has seriously gotten the wrong impression about who I am. Could you please step in and talk to her? I feel like she isn't going to listen to anything that I try to tell her. I really would appreciate it if you could do something about this.
You think that she has the wrong idea about who you are? What do you mean by that? What kind of things has she been saying to you?
She just seems to be fixated on the idea that I'm the kind of person who would bully my own daughter-in-law. And you and I both know that that is something that I'd never do. I really have just been trying to get to know her better. I don't understand why she always has to act so rudely towards me.
Oh right, now that you mention it, Rachel was complaining a bit about not knowing how to deal with you. But I think these things just happen, and that there isn't really much that we can do about it. I mean, sometimes there are people who you get along with, and sometimes there are people who you don't, right? That's life, I guess.
I know that there can be people who just never get along or see eye to eye, but it's different when it's my son's wife. We don't have to be best friends, but I just wish that Rachel would at least keep her rude thoughts to herself when we're together.
Well, I don't really think anything I say would really change how Rachel acts around you. I know that I told you about how headstrong she can be about expressing herself.
I could really use your help with you, and I really think it would be beneficial to all three of us. Don't you?
I don't know. It just kind of sounds like it would be a major pain to deal with.
And do you really feel that even though Rachel said that she didn't want me to go near the two of you ever again, you really just want me to go along with that and cut myself out of both your lives, Gabe?
Hey, I mean, maybe that's just what would be for the best. Rachel seems to have made herself pretty clear, and like I said, I can't see myself changing her mind, so...
I really just don't know what to say to that. My own son. Look, can you please just try talking to Rachel for me? Can we please try and communicate first before we jump to such drastic measures? I really do just want to get along with her, and that's it. Won't you please do this one thing for your mother?
You have really got some nerve trying to make my husband do your dirty work for you. It was bad enough getting bullied by you, but now you need to drag Gabe into this as well? I hope you realize just how pathetic that is. Or is this some kind of game that you enjoy doing instead? Do you have fun meddling in other people's lives?
Rachel, that wasn't what I was trying to do at all. Please, I think you're being very unfair to me right now.
I already told you that I want you to keep out of Gabe and I's lives, didn't I? That's why I said that you're not going to be at our wedding, remember?
And you're really serious about that? You really don't even want me to be there and see you two at your wedding?
What's the point? You were already there when we went to the courthouse. That should be enough. And if you think that after we do get married that we're going to tell you where we live, you're dead wrong. As far as you should be concerned, Gabe and I don't even exist, and you should just leave us alone forever.
Rachel, please, I just want to understand what it was that you dislike so much about me. I mean, what did I do that is making you take this whole thing so far?
I've already explained it to you, haven't I? I can tell just by looking at you that you're going to be a horrible mother-in-law. In fact, you're already proving my point right now. But I know how to read and what kind of person someone is just by looking at them. And you're just a walking red flag.
Come on. Do you really think that you can know so much about who someone is just by looking at their face? I mean, haven't you ever heard the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover? You know that wasn't just about books, don't you? I just wish that we could be a little more reasonable about this.
And there you go, talking down to me again. I knew it. I was right all along. Well, let me take this as a chance to say that I want you out of our lives forever. Gabe and I never ever want to see you again. Do you understand me? I don't care if 20 years from now you're old and need money and nursing. Don't bother coming to us because we won't be there to help you.
Well, okay then. If that's really how you want things, I suppose I can't convince you otherwise. And it seems to me that Gabe feels the same way about all of this too. So I suppose I shouldn't stubbornly stand in your ways anymore. If you want me out of your life, consider me gone.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought we were never going to get you to leave us alone. But honestly, all you've ever done is intimidate me with that mean mug of yours. But I knew that if I stood my ground and pushed back that you wouldn't have any power over me. And that's why you're not going to be stepping a foot inside our wedding. Got it?
Oh, I understand perfectly, Rachel. But I guess if that's the case, then I'll just have to give my condo up to Gabe's little brother and his wife.
Wait, hold on. A condo. Your condo. What are you talking about?
Oh, hadn't you heard? I just recently bought a condo for myself.
You did? But how? That doesn't make any sense. I thought that you were just some poor old woman. How did you afford to buy your own condo?
You really just find all kinds of new ways to be rude to me, don't you? If you really must know where I got my money from, I trade on the stock market.
You invest. And day trade. And you were able to buy a condo.
That's right. And I've been doing this for some years now, so not to brag, but I have quite a bit of money saved up. And so anyways, I bought a condo downtown as one of my investments, but then I realized that it would make a perfect wedding gift. I was going to offer it to you and Gabe at a very generous price. But I suppose none of that is going to happen now that you want me out of your life, right?
Hold on a second, you're serious? You really did buy a condo and you were really going to offer it for Gabe and I to live in?
Yes, of course. Why would I be lying about any of this?
Well, I was just asking because I was joking this whole time, you see? But I guess you must have misread my messages. Of course I wasn't serious about anything that I was saying, though. I think we really got off on the wrong foot. Maybe we can start over and pretend like none of this happened.
Pretend like none of this happened? You mean you want me to pretend like you didn't just declare that you wanted me out of your life forever?
Of course I don't want that. It's just that, well, you know how jokes sometimes don't go so well over text, right? That's all this was. I was joking this whole time.
Really? Even though you've been talking to me like this for days, this was all just some huge, elaborate joke. I mean, you told me multiple times that you didn't want me around and didn't even invite me to your wedding. And this was just the most recent episode of you saying all those horrible things to me.
I am telling you that I was just kidding around this whole time. I mean it. Of course I want to get along with you. You're my mother-in-law, for crying out loud.
Wow, well, you certainly have changed your tune, haven't you? It seems to me like the moment you found out that I was about to rent you my condo that you changed how you felt about me. Don't tell me that you're just being nice to me because you think there's something to gain from it. Because only a real lowlife with no respect for themselves would do something like that.
It's just that I didn't really believe you at first, but I just asked Gabe and he confirmed it for me. I really had no idea that you were such a crazy investor. But now Gabe is telling me that you make some serious money doing that. I can't believe that I never knew about this. But then again, I always told Gabe to refrain from telling me anything about you unless I asked first. But anyways, this is all clearly just a silly little misunderstanding. And I see now that maybe we were both wrong to ask this way. So let's just put this whole little misunderstanding behind us.
And just what is this misunderstanding? Because if you think that I wasn't serious when I agreed to leave your life, then that is a misunderstanding. I told you what I was going to do and I meant it. There really isn't anything else to it beyond that.
No, you don't really mean that. You're just confused because you didn't get my joke.
You repeatedly told me that you think I have the face of an overbearing mother-in-law, and that you knew just by looking that I was a bad person. Was it also one of your little jokes? Because it certainly didn't feel that way to me.
I really don't think that there's any point in getting upset over all that. It's in the past now. What's the point in holding on to a grudge like that now, right? Why do this when Gabe and I are about to get married?
I should really be asking you the same questions, Rachel. Because I have had enough of you putting me down and treating me like I don't matter when you're marrying my son. But if you must know, you two are not getting my condo. It's clear that the only reason you're talking to me like this now is because you know there's something to gain out of it. Besides, I know all about what you were trying to do by getting me out of the picture.
What do you mean by that? I didn't do anything at all, I swear.
You wanted to cut me out of your lives now so that when I was older, I wouldn't become a burden on you two. You just wanted to abandon your mother-in-law from the start so that you could save yourself some trouble in the future. Well, I've already made up my mind, and the condo will not be going to you. The other reason I wanted to give it to you, however, was because Gabe's brother already makes so much more money than him. When I first offered the condo, he told me that I should give it to Gabe instead, since he wasn't in need of anything. But I'm afraid that after the way I've been treated by you two...
Wait, no, please. I'm really sorry about before. I promise. I really want to live in a condo downtown. You can't just take that away from me.
I'm afraid that you never had it in the first place. This was always mine to give or not give.
But why not? Even Gabe's brother said that he didn't need it, right?
That's true. But why would I even want to give it to you at this point? I certainly don't think that it was Gabe's job to tell you all about my life or properties, but you also told him you wanted to know nothing about me. Instead, you just got wrapped up in your warped perception of me and treated me like I was nothing. You told me that you didn't want me at your wedding, remember?
No, please. This really is just one big misunderstanding, I promise. That isn't what I meant at all. I think that you have a lovely face that could only belong to one of the kindest souls. You said that you wanted to get along with me, right? Well, now is our chance to start over.
You mean it? And you'll actually try to be nice to me?
Yes, I promise that I will pour everything I have into showing my mother-in-law the respect she deserves.
I'm just not buying it.
Wait, what? What do you mean you're not buying it?
I mean that if someone says one thing all the time and only changes their tune once they realize they stand to gain something, then that isn't a good person. And quite frankly, I don't think that I need or want that kind of person in my life. It's not my place to tell my sons who they can or can't marry. But I certainly agree that it would be better if you and I kept our distance from each other.
No, please don't be like that. It doesn't have to be this way. I can be nice. I can be a good daughter-in-law for you. Just give me a chance to prove it to you.
You've had your chance this whole time and you've done a terrible job of it.
Please, Deandra, don't be like this. I'm so sorry. Can't we just please put this behind us? We can be friends from now on. I promise.
Here's the thing, Rachel. I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I don't care how many times you apologize, it isn't going to change anything. I've made up my mind and I hope that you and Gabe find happiness by yourselves.
Are you at your condo right now?
Yes, I am actually. But why do you ask?
I can head there right now to apologize to you in person. Please, let me show you how sorry I am.
Oh, I do believe that you're sorry. But only for yourself. I don't think you have any intention of truly apologizing to me for what you've done.
That isn't true! I really regret it all. I can prove it.
No. We've already agreed to leave each other alone. I would appreciate it if you could at least respect that.
You can't do this to us. This is your son and his wife that we're talking about. At least let me see the condo.
I'm sorry, but I really don't see any point in carrying on this conversation any longer. Goodbye, Rachel. Rachel continued to blow up my phone with texts begging for forgiveness and to see the condo, but I ignored them all and silenced any notifications from her. I reached out to Gabe and told him that he couldn't count on support from me anymore, but that I hope they had a good wedding. With Gabe's brother not showing that much interest in it, I decided to rent the condo to some tenants. A couple months later, I heard that Gabe and Rachel had gotten a divorce. I heard that all they did was fight all the time and that everyone could see it coming. Now that Rachel is out of the picture, though, I've thought about reaching out to my son to mend our relationship. But for now, I want to see how well he gets along by himself.
Hello, I was wondering if this is the correct number for customer service?
Yes, this is Customer Service Center. How may I help you today?
Well, I'd like to report an incident that happened to me. I walked into one of your hotels and was assaulted by one of your employees, and I just want to say that that behavior is completely unacceptable.
One of our employees assaulted you? I see. Would you mind telling me a bit more about this incident so that I can begin to make a report about it?
Well, it was really windy and rainy outside, and it was getting way too dangerous to drive, so anyway, I pulled over and walked to the hotel and ran inside for some cover. And then someone calling themselves the manager ran up to me and told me that I didn't belong in the hotel and called me poor. He ran right up to me and hit me in the face and threw me out into the pouring rain.
I see. I was wondering what this might have been about. But now I see that you're just that no-good poor person from earlier.
Wait a second, are you the manager that hit me?
I am. Although I'm currently sitting in for the person that is usually manning the customer service hotline. But to think that I would happen to be working here when a deluded madman such as yourself would try to contact us? Are you an escapee from a mental hospital or something? Do I need to call your handler?
Excuse me? What is the matter with you? What makes you think that you can talk to me this way?
Listen here, you little street urchin. Why don't you learn some respect and call me by my name? Or did you not read it before I kicked you out? Well, allow me to jog your memory. The name is Tim. Although I suppose I can't really ask a poor person to even take notice of something like a name tag. You've probably never been in a place nice enough to use them.
Are you really the manager for this hotel? You have got some nerve talking to your customers this way, you know that? What's the matter with you?
Well, if you were a real customer, I would never ever take this sort of tone with you. But you're not a customer. You're just a dirty little squatter looking for handouts. I don't owe you any kind of special treatment.
Look, I don't care what kind of a person you are when you're not working, but the point is that I was someone who just walked into your hotel. Why wasn't I shown the same level of respect that anyone else was just walking into your hotel?
Do you think that we live by the customer as always right here? Our clientele is exclusively made up of rich and famous. It's not just anyone that can come in here and claim to be a customer. In fact, even to work here, you have to go through a grueling training process. And I manage all of these employees, which makes me the best of them. So don't go trying to claim the right to any kind of treatment that you're not even close to deserving. All you are is trash. Trash that deserve to be swept away in that wind and rain. If you want to go looking for handouts, there are plenty of other suckers that might fall for your tricks. But I know that I couldn't have you defiling my hotel, and that's why I kicked you out. In fact, I should call the police on you and have them arrest you for trespassing.
I really can't believe what you're telling me. Are you seriously the manager of this hotel? I find it very hard to believe that the hotel would give a job like that to someone like you.
Well, quite frankly, I don't give a damn about what some poor little peasant thinks about me. The matter of the fact is that the job is mine, and I can do whatever I want.
Hey, Ralph, are you there? I was just wondering if you had a minute to talk really quick.
Oh, hey, big bro. Yeah, I can talk right now. What's on your mind, Neil?
I actually just wanted to know about how your stay at the hotel is going.
Aren't you on vacation with your family right now? You know that you can take a break from checking in on everyone all the time. You never take a break from work, do you?
I know, but with all this stormy weather, I just couldn't help but worry. Thankfully, where we all are, there's not a lot of rain, and so we didn't get hit that hard. What about you?
Well, it was pretty windy and rainy here, but that's about it, thankfully. Nothing too crazy happened. Well, nothing too crazy with the weather, anyway. Checking in at the hotel was interesting.
Interesting? What do you mean by that? Did something happen?
Well, I was on my way to the hotel, and I had to pull over and walk to the hotel because the rain was so bad. By the time I finally got there, I was completely soaking wet. And anyways, the manager saw me in that state and hit me in the face and threw me out.
Wait, one of the staff members there hit you in the face? Are you serious?
I was so shocked. I'd never had anything like that happen to me before. But I guess since I was so wet, this guy might have thought that I wasn't a customer and was just trying to get out of the rain. He called me a dirty, poor person and said that I wasn't welcome there and then hit me. I know I probably shouldn't have gone inside when I was so wet, but what other choice did I have when the weather was like that?
That's no excuse at all. You were just trying to get out of the rain for a little bit. Did you catch the name of the person who did that to you?
It was Tim something or other.
Tim. Huh.
I hope I'm not asking too much of you, but the whole experience was really upsetting, and I was wondering if I could ask you to handle it.
Are you sure you want it to be me?
I think that it would be better if you handled this. After all, you are the area manager for the hotel chain, right? Wouldn't this fall under your jurisdiction?
You're right. I'll get right on that.
Thanks a lot, and I'm so sorry to dump all this on you so suddenly.
You don't have anything to apologize for. This is the least I can do for all that you've done for me. Tim, just what the heck do you think you're doing over there, huh?
Neil, what's this all about? Is this to do with work? I thought you were on vacation with your family, right?
Why am I hearing that you hit someone in our hotel who was just trying to stay out of the rain. What were you thinking doing something like that?
Hold on a second. This is some kind of mistake. I did hit someone and throw them out of the hotel, but it was only because I was sure they were some kind of thief using the rain as an excuse to sneak in.
You thought you were hitting a thief?
That's right. He was using the storm outside as an excuse so that he could hang around our hotel, and when we let our guard down, he was going to rob us. I couldn't expose the other customers to that risk, so I had no choice but to get him out of the hotel.
And you thought that was a good reason to hit this man as well?
It was the only thing that I could think of to get him out of the hotel quickly. I couldn't just let him hang around forever. He forced me to do that to him. I wasn't just going to stand there and let this shabby person ruin the reputation of our luxury hotel. It would have harmed our business. I was only protecting the hotel, I swear. I don't understand why you're mad when I did this for the business.
So you not only admit to hitting this person, but you're also trying to justify it, huh? If I understand correctly, you don't have any intention of apologizing for what you've done. But nonetheless, I'll give you one more chance to admit your wrongdoing.
I'm sorry. I'm still really confused. What do I even have to apologize for? All I was doing was my job as the manager to make sure that the hotel was running smoothly. If anything, I don't understand why I should have to explain myself to you.
And just what is that supposed to mean?
I mean that you're supposed to be this area's manager, but you're totally useless. You weren't there and you don't know what happens. So who are you to tell me what to do? If I had your job, I would be doing it 1,000 times better than you are. In fact, I was in line to have your job until you swooped in out of nowhere and took it from me. Do you have any idea how long I've been stuck as the manager of this hotel? When I heard that you were taking my job, I did some looking into you and found out all about how you used to work for a conglomerate that owns this chain of hotels. You've been a manager for all kinds of business and even other hotel chains, right?
How did you find all that out? I was sure that I made it so what I did in the past would be hidden from anyone working under me.
There you go. This is just another reason why you're a terrible manager. You don't know what's going on at any of the other hotels, and yet you have the nerve to try and tell me how to do my job? I can't believe that. I have to work under the person who stole my promotion and can't even do his job right. You just get this job because of who you know, not your abilities. I have a much longer and more impressive resume than you. I should have your job. It isn't fair.
Okay, you seriously need to chill out. Don't you ever get sick of making excuses for yourself? You still have your job because I thought that you could handle the responsibilities that came with it. But I see now that I was wrong about that. I won't lie that I've had my eye on this job for a while now. And since I haven't been officially given the position, I decided to hide my past.
I knew it. I almost didn't believe it when I read that you were related to the CEO. But now I know it's true.
So you've even looked into my family, huh? Well, then I guess you really do know everything that I tried to hide. But either way, that still isn't an excuse for the assault that you carried out on a customer. And as your supervisor, I won't just ignore the fact that you did that. And your punishment is going to be appropriate for what you did. You can count on that.
Oh, I'm so scared. Please, what can you even do to me? You're going to punish me for chasing a non-guest off the property? Good luck getting management to go along with that.
You don't get to decide who is and isn't a customer the moment they walk through the door.
This just proves that you really have no idea what it's like inside the hotels. If I see some soaking, wet, poor person come in, I know right then and there that they don't belong. They don't have enough money for one night in one of our hotels, so why waste our time with them? That's why I called that man what he is, poor, and I threw him back out into the rain. I know all about how this business works, and I'm not going to be talked down to by someone who got where they are by who they know, and not what they can do. And besides, I already erased the security footage of what I did, so there's not even any proof.
I can't believe you would do something like that.
Well, there's nothing you can do about it now.
But you did all that to the CEO, the one who said you found out that I was related to. The person who you hit and threw out of the hotel was my little brother, and he also owns the conglomerate that owns our hotel. That's the person you called a poor thief. Oh man,
You're so stupid. You really expect me to believe that someone looking like that was the owner of the hotel? Why the heck would the owner be coming to the hotel in the middle of a storm anyways? Huh? I've never heard of the big boss ever making a trip to a place like this.
Well, he just happened to be in the area and wanted to check in on the state of the hotel himself. He knows how busy this time of year can be for us. So instead of making a phone call, he wanted to go out and do some of the work himself. Maybe you'd recognize him if he was wearing a suit. But he dressed up quite casually and didn't look like hotel staff or an owner. But that was the man that you kicked out into the storm. In fact, the area where the hotel is was slated for much worse weather, but the path changed around the time you kicked my brother out. Thanks to you, though, he could have been seriously hurt if the storm hadn't moved.
This is all just a lie. You're just trying to scare me right now, aren't you?
Why would I lie about this? Everything I've said has been the truth. My little brother's name is Ralph Erickson. I'm sure if you Google him, you'll recognize his face.
I don't know what to say right now.
I take it that you took my advice and looked up my brother?
I did. His face and name matched that of the CEO on our webpage. Except on our webpage, he's in a suit, and his hair looks much nicer. But his face was the same as the guy who I kicked out of the hotel. There's no way this is all just a coincidence either. But I don't get it. If he's your little brother, then why aren't you the owner of the hotel and stuff? You're just another worker like me.
That's right, but it's only because I didn't want to be in charge of everything. I was in line to take over everything, but it never sat right with me, and Ralph seemed much better suited to it. So we talked to my parents, and they agreed to let Ralph take over the company instead.
So then, you two are the sons of the old CEO?
I thought you looked into who my family was. But anyways, I guess now you understand why I tried so hard to hide who I was. Although I will admit that this area manager job was compensation for the CEO position that I turned down. So while my brother works at HQ and handles the bigger picture stuff, I prefer much more to manage closer to the ground.
But I still don't understand it. Our HQ is in New York. What was your brother doing all the way out here?
He actually just happened to be out here on a business trip for another company he runs when he heard about the storm. He messaged me and said that he was going to examine your hotel himself. But he got caught in the storm without an umbrella, and I guess his car must have broken down. So he had to get out and walk all the way to your hotel, and, well, you know the rest of the story, I assume.
Mr. Erickson, I would like to sincerely apologize for my behavior earlier. I had no idea that you were the owner of this establishment. You should have said something to me. Had you done so, I would have shown you to the penthouse suite right away.
Well, it seems like someone's attitude has gone through quite a shift. Although it's obvious that you're only acting this way because you found out that I'm the owner of your hotel. I must say though, your style of management is quite unorthodox.
I really do want to apologize again. I genuinely thought that you were some kind of stranger trying to sneak their way inside.
I see, and do you physically assault all people who come into the hotel if you think they might not be guests? Because this is the first time I've ever gone through something like this. In fact, I would say that you're guilty of assault and should be punished, don't you think?
Please don't punish me. I really am sorry. I really was just thinking about the good of the hotel and was only trying to protect its image.
I don't want to hear any of your excuses. I understand that my brother has already given you plenty of chances to make up for this, no? He was the one that I went to ask him to handle your case. As I'm sure you're aware, I don't directly oversee the hotels that I own. He even came to me asking me to move ahead with any kind of punishments for you. Although here you are messaging me and only giving me excuses for what you've done. Well, if you thought that was going to be enough to sway me, you're quite wrong, I'm afraid.
Please, it was just an honest mistake. You're not going to punish me for that, are you?
You really don't realize the seriousness of what you've done, do you? A manager of a hotel assaulted someone who walked through their doors just because he thought they looked poor. How can I entrust the management of one of my businesses to someone who acts so rashly and carelessly? I'm sorry, but I've made up my mind and I will have to punish you for this. I can't allow this to happen for a second time. You should have thought about the possible consequences of your actions before you did what you did to me. But thanks to you, I've learned that I have to be much more careful about who my company hires as managers.
No, please don't do this to me. I really am sorry. You have to forgive me. Neil, are you there? Please, you have to get me in touch with your brother. He stopped responding to my messages. I have a really bad feeling that I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Please, you have to help me.
Hello, Tim. I was wondering if you would stop bothering my brother with all your messages. He's very busy having to step in and take over the management of the hotel for you, and he doesn't have time to deal with your griping.
Mr. Erickson, thank goodness it's you. Please, you have to forgive me. I'm so sorry for everything. But I won't be able to make a living at this rate. I promise to never do anything like I did again. If you just please forgive me.
Well, if you're really serious, I guess I could stop your work suspension.
You mean it? You do that for me?
I will, but you're just gonna get arrested anyway.
What do you mean by that?
What do you think I mean? Did you really think that you were gonna get away with what you did to me? You said that you'll never do anything like you did to me again, but I don't think that you've really done enough thinking about your actions. I mean, you've said some horrible things, you were violent, and now it's clear that you were just worried about saving your own skin. I really don't think that you're a good fit with the company that I'm trying to foster. That's why I felt like I had no choice but to go to the police and report what you did to me. I asked them to check the security footage for proof of it.
You asked them to look at the security footage? But I already told you I erased all of it.
Oh, that's right. Well then, I guess it's a good thing that a few months ago I arranged to have a security footage from all the companies sent to a storage facility. I suppose that I can just invite the police over to headquarters to see that footage then. I won't have any trouble being given access to it since I am in charge after all. Also, do you happen to know just how many cameras there are operating in your hotel?
I think there are like 15. I know a few of them are dummies, and I'm not sure which are the real ones.
Well, that guess was pretty close. Before I changed the system, now they've all been made real and I've increased the number in use. Although for some reason the video data coming into my backup hard drives doesn't quite match how many cameras there actually should be. I was really confused until I checked on some of the footage that we did have, and happened to catch you taking down the ones that should have been newly put up. I'm assuming that you're selling them online or something, thinking that HQ would pay for everything, but you did it right in front of a live camera.
But I thought that one was a dummy.
Well, they were all real by the time, so you thought to try and steal them. So not only did you assault me, but you also stole from me.
Okay, I'm really sorry for everything. I'll even return money. Just please don't bring the cops into this.
It's way too late to apologize for all that now. After that, Tim was arrested and charged with assault and theft. He was fired and left with barely a penny to his name by the time all was said and done. I have no idea where he is now or what he's doing. As for my brother, the company ended up finding out who he really was. But the staff had been so pleased with his job as manager that nobody really minded at all. As for me, I had to let my wounds recover and didn't show my face in public for a while. Tim really did have a strong right hook. Plus, I figured that it was better not to make myself too known in the midst of all. After that, I took it upon myself to hire a new manager from the hotel that Tim was fired from. It turns out that in the interim time that my brother had taken over for Tim during his suspension, he had become extremely popular among the staff, and came to grow fond of them himself. When he heard that I was doing interviews for the job, he put his hat in. I asked if he was sure, and he responded that if possible, he'd like to remain the regional manager and directly manage that hotel, as well since he had grown so fond of it since starting there.